is Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow.
And this is the Expansions News Podcast for the very end of February 2017. And by the time you see this, it might be early March 2017.
I hope they see it before the end of February,
Well,
because otherwise there'll be old news.
You know, February is a very short month, so...
Yes, but it's been a good month. Lots of activity. And lots of activity. It's new beginnings, you know? New beginnings come in many different ways for many different people.
Yes, and sometimes beginnings first have to have an ending. And so, what's in the news a lot is, for some reason, Israel. And so,
And you're going to tell us why, I guess.
I'm going to tell you why, whether you like it or not.
All right.
The Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, was the first Israeli Prime Minister to visit Australia. Australia, which he visited and praised Australia for, quote, courageously willing to puncture UN hypocrisy, unquote, on anti-Israel resolutions. And Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull marked the first visit to Australia by a serving Israeli leader by writing an opinion piece which stated that the United Nations General Assembly had adopted 20 resolutions critical of Israel in the preceding year, and only one about the Syrian war. And according to the Australian Prime Minister, he said, and I quote, "My government," of course he said it with an Australian accent.
You can't do
but
that.
I can do that, but I don't want to insult the Australians, because I kind of like them now.
Mm-hmm.
And he
You
said,
didn't used to?
well, they were mean to me, but now they're not. Anyway, he says, "My government will not support one-sided resolutions criticizing Israel of the kind recently adopted by the UN Security Council, and we deplore the boycott campaigns designed to delegitimize the Jewish state." And he condemned the resolution which condemned the Israeli settlements on the West Bank and East Jerusalem as a flagrant violation of international law. The United States abstained from the vote, but Australia voted with the few countries to publicly support Israel. So that means they wanted something from Israel, which I will get to in a moment. And then Netanyahu said that the absurd resolution that the Western Wall, the most sacred site for the Jewish people for thousands of years even before the rise of Islam, is occupied Palestinian territory. And he said, now get this one, he said, "So the UN is capable of many absurdities," that's true, "and I think it's important that you have straightforward and clear-eyed countries like Australia that often bring it back to earth." I would not call Australia clear-eyed.
No.
They eat kangaroo tail, you know, and, you know, they do bad things to Aborigines and all that kind of stuff, and they keep, you know, refugees in Papua New Guinea. So, no, they're not clear-eyed at all. And they drink so much, they can't possibly be.
I think clear-eyed is kind of an odd term anyway.
Yes, anyway, and it said Netanyahu dismissed calls from critics of Israel's West Bank settlements, including the former Australian Prime Ministers Kevin Rudd, and Bob Hawke, who wanted Australia to recognize Palestine as a state. And Netanyahu said, "I ask both former prime ministers to ask a simple question. What kind of state will it be that they are advocating? A state that calls for Israel's destruction? A state whose territory will be used immediately for radical Islam," which is true. Now here's the point. Netanyahu and Turnbull, it's funny because when Trump hung up on him, he called him Trumbull, and his name is Turnbull. That's, you know, but I'm being very careful to say it right. Turnbull. They signed agreements on technology and air services, as well as expanding cooperation in areas like cybersecurity and science. So there's reasons why this.
Are you going to tell us
why they're kissing Israel's butt. I just told you, because they want Israeli technology. And what was the next story that was big important on the news? What's the safest airline in the world?
I wouldn't know.
The Israeli airline, El Al. It was voted the safest airline in the world. And it says, according to 60 Minutes News Magazine, that there are many factors that make it the number one airline to fly if you don't want to worry about terrorism. They have stringent security measures for all passengers. There are sky marshals aboard every flight, steel doors securing the cockpit. And in 2002, some of you may remember that terrorists with Russian surface-to-air missiles, or SAMs, attempted to shoot down an Israeli passenger liner that was taking off from the airport at Mombasa, Kenya. And they missed. And since then, the Israelis have been working on protecting their aircraft from missiles. And so, the Israeli defense contractor called Elbit Systems developed an on-plane anti-missile defense that offers protection against any civilian airliner. It's called, and this I don't understand, C-Music. I don't know why.
There's got to be some secret
It doesn't
thing
even
there.
say why they call it that, but it warns a plane's aircrew of an incoming missile and then uses an infrared camera and blasts it with a powerful laser to disable the missile and protect the plane. It's quite ingenious.
If you can do
Kind of
that.
like a UFO would do something like that.
Maybe.
And so all of El Al's air fleet will be equipped with this.
But they're not yet.
But they're in the process of doing that. But the Elbit's biggest foreign customer is Brazil, which is using it for their military aircraft.
Now, I remember off the coast of Brazil is when they shot down one of those Air France planes.
Well, that's very. You are so brilliant with your memory for a woman your age. You know, Alzheimer's.
That's not nice. Don't say that.
Come on, we understand.
It's not nice.
Anyway, it's not. I'm never nice, and you know that. Anyway, there's a rival to this technology. It's called Guardian, which is being manufactured by Northrop Grumman, which is on Long Island where I used to live.
I used to live there too.
You did?
Yeah, with you.
Ah, was that you?
That was me.
Ah, you look. You know, I knew you looked so familiar.
You know, and one of the questions on YouTube, they wanted to know if I was your wife. So yes, and if you're wondering, I am your wife.
Yeah, she's one of them. She's one of them. Because I'm a Mormon. Yeah. Anyway, and they'll all believe that. Anyway, American Airlines is interested in buying the Guardian system from Northrop at $1 million per unit. And guess what they said? It would cost on your ticket to get this $1 extra. You believe that?
Maybe.
I don't believe that. Personally, I trust the Israeli technology over the American because the Israelis there's no room for error.
Well, isn't Israel like the pineal gland of the world?
Maybe it's another kind of gland. Anyway, and this it's not on my news, but it reminded me of another thing I read, that the Americans are buying a technology from the Israelis that is a drone killer.
The Americans are buying this from the Israelis?
Yeah, like the Israelis have this thing, like they have this Iron Dome thing,
Right.
but now they have this technology that destroys drones.
Okay.
And that's why Netanyahu said that Israel was invincible.
Maybe they're going to put one of those things like over Israel because it's a pretty small state.
Yeah, but you know
Nation.
what? They have no room for mistake. Anyway, speaking of things in the sky, guess what happened in Europe recently?
A lot of things.
Well, small amounts of nuclear radiation spread across Europe last month, meaning January, and nobody knows why. It was first detected over the Norway-Russian border in January, and it was the radioactive iodine-131, which was found over several European countries. And there were unsubstantiated rumors of nuclear testing by Russia, but they can't link. But they said it's most likely an unreported pharmaceutical mishap. Do pharmacies use radiation and blast it into the atmosphere?
I don't think so.
I don't understand that.
That
doesn't make any sense. Of course, they blame Russia for like everything. You know, if you have a cold, oh, Russia did it. You know. The radiation spike happened in January in Finland and France, but has only gone public with the information on the incident after it was also detected in Norway, Finland, Poland, Czech Republic, Germany, France, and Spain. Hello, it's a lot of places in Europe.
I would think so.
And when they asked Norway why they didn't inform the public last month, they said the measurements in January were very, very low, so were the measurements in neighboring countries, so we thought there was no news value. Oh, but trashing Poland's government was news value, but radiation was not. Mm-hmm. Brilliant, Norway. And France Nuclear Safety Authority says it raises no health concerns and there's since no return to normal. Our cheese and wine are safe. We know about France, right? That's why when the Germans invaded, they please come in, just do not break anything. We will not fight, just do not break anything.
My family's French, so.
They're Savoie. They're from Savoie. Different. Anyway, they said it's disconcerting about the event that the radiation spread through Europe and no one knows what happened.
It would be very disconcerting.
Yes. But they said, we do know that iodine-131 has a half-life of just 8 days, so detecting it in the atmosphere is proof of a recent release. So my question is, so what is it? How come they can see which planets 39 light years away could have life, but they can't detect the source of radiation over Europe in the last 8 days?
They never could find that plane either.
And they can't find planes that disappear, but they can find life 40 million light years away. Can you explain that?
Mm-mm.
I can't either. And speaking of that, of course the big story is that they have found at least 7 Earth-sized planets orbiting the same star 40 light years away, but they can't detect a meteor that's passing between the Earth and the Moon until it happens. Mm-hmm. That they couldn't figure it out, but 40 light years away, they know there are 7 planets that are Earth-like. Now, explain that one to me. Now, they said this is the first time that so many planets of this kind are found in the same star. I'll translate. That's the first time they admitted that they knew about that. The 7 exoplanets, means outside our solar system, were all found in tight formation in an ultra-cool dwarf star called TRAPPIST-1. It's a dwarf star.
Well, TRAPPIST-Monk is what makes me think of.
Yeah, but TRAPPIST-1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I hear dwarf, you know what I think?
Well, don't even tell me.
I can't even go there.
No, you cannot.
I got in a lot of trouble for that on the radio show.
Don't go there.
Yeah. Anyway, it indicates that the planets are all rocky. They're rocky planets.
Okay.
Maybe they're like a rocky road of ice cream, instead of being gaseous like Jupiter.
And we're supposed to be like a rocky planet.
And there are 3 that are in the habitable zone, known as TRAPPIST-1e, F, and G.
Those original names.
EFG, okay? And so when you get your ticket, make sure it's
the correct planet.
TRAPPIST, E, F, or G.
Right.
Yeah. Researchers believe that TRAPPIST-1F is particularly the best candidate for life, even though they think it's a bit cooler than Earth. Okay, listen, they can't predict the weather on the same frickin' day, but they know what the temperature is 40 frickin' light years away on some planet they don't even really know if it's there. So, figure that one out.
Well, apparently you've got it all figured out.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Gives me so much confidence in human science. Now here's the next best part. Over the next decade, the researchers want to define the atmosphere of each planet to determine if they truly do have liquid water on the surface and signs for life. So by then we'll be invaded, so it's kind of too late by then. And they also said that although 40 light years away doesn't sound too far,
does to me.
Yeah, it would take us millions of years to reach the star system, but from a research perspective, it's a close opportunity, and the best target to search for life beyond our solar system. So if it's out of our reach, why are you wasting millions and billions of dollars that you think you're telling people we can never get there in millions of years? Why do you care?
Well, I'm going to tell you because they do time travel.
No, it's because it's full of crap. They already know everything anyway.
Right, but they do have time travel. They've been there. They probably have colonies living there already.
Yeah. In 2018, James Webb Space Telescope will be launched, and we will be positioned 1 million miles from Earth, and will create a view of the universe and see large exoplanets to detect starlight filtered through their atmosphere. The star system will probably, here's the greatest part of all, the star system will probably outlive us because this type of star evolves so slowly. When our sun dies, TRAPPIST-1 will be the young star and will live for another 1 trillion years after we are gone.
How do they know that?
Yeah, how do they know that? And if there is another part of the universe for life to carry on, it may be in TRAPPIST-1's system. Enter drum roll.
Maybe they're going to make a movie.
Yeah, it's because, listen, there are trillions and trillions of planets out there already with life that they already know about, so this is a BS story.
Well, they focus us on this so that therefore you don't think about everything else. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone care what's going to happen 1 frickin' trillion years from now? We don't know what today's going to bring.
Or tomorrow.
Seriously.
And the other thing, is that the end of your stories?
Yeah.
Because I was going to just comment, I don't have this on my stories either, but when you're reading through these things, I was going to ask you, because I keep forgetting to ask you, have you noticed how they're trying to play up Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada?
Oh, please, he's 12 years old. He's a little boy that's dressing like a man.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting?
Oh, look, I could do a handstand on the desk.
But they're showing all kinds of weird pictures like that. They showed him with Ivanka, that she was supposedly all
and she's looking at him so sexually.
Yes, and all this stuff. And the other day he was
you
addressing...
never look at me like that, by the way.
He was addressing the immigrants and he had on the Sikh turban. Did you see that?
No.
Yes, I thought that looked really...
Well,
to me it looked
his father is Cuban.
But I know, but it looked disrespectful to me because he's not a Sikh. You know, it'd be like you dressing up in a nun's outfit. You're not a nun.
I was going to do that tomorrow.
I know, so I was kind of bringing that forward. But the thing
this
is,
little habit,
every time I see him, he's like this young, we're supposed to,
and did you see his wife? His wife is like she's on
No,
drugs.
I haven't seen her.
She can't handle anything. She has to have maids take care of the children. Anything she can't handle it.
I didn't even know he was married.
Where have you been?
Well, I don't pay that much attention because I'm not interested.
Okay, let me tell you. Where have you been, A?
Well, anyway, I just thought that was interesting to continue to watch all this because why are they putting him forward like this? I just think it's interesting to keep your eye on
Oh, please. Listen. They will hardly let me into Canada, but they let all these Syrians across the border. Seriously.
But it's almost like he's the antithesis to Trump, like Trump is this old, mean guy. And we have this,
he is not.
Then we have this young, super moving forward guy.
Oh,
so it's like they're kind of...
His last name should be Castro.
Or castrate.
Well, maybe he has been.
But don't you think that's interesting, though, that we kind of have this thing going on now between these leaders, the young and the old? And anyway, I just think it's interesting. You should watch
that. When I become emperor, and I will become emperor very soon.
I thought you already were.
Well, but now people will know. I'm going to fix all of this.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Anyway, on with my news. So the interesting thing is, and if you had an update, which I looked and I couldn't find it.
What?
Well, what I read was that Washington was preparing to bring North Koreans to U.S. for talks, right?
This is funny, people.
So anyway, it said, this article actually came out the 20th of February, so just really a few days ago. Apparently that they were going to bring them in with talks with former U.S. officials. Right. It would be the first such meeting in more than 5 years. Now, it said that this would be the clearest indication that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un wants to communicate with the Trump administration.
Which is different than his brother Kim Jong-dead.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they call this Track 1.5 talks. Did you ever hear of that?
No.
I never heard of it, but they make it sound like we should know what that is.
Of course they do.
Because they said, now this was interesting, that it says that name reflecting planned contact between former U.S. officials and current North Korean ones is a reference to what are known as Track 2 talks.
So actually it's 1.5 to 2.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
That's their shoe size, actually.
Involving former officials on both sides. So they make it sound these Track 2 talks happen all the time, which I never heard of it called Track 2.
Yes. But
you heard of that?
No.
Oh, I never heard of it. But so this one's going to be called Track 1.5. Then it said the State Department, our U.S. State Department, has not approved the North Koreans' visas for the talks.
Yeah, that's the funny part. They invited them to come here, but they can't get a visa.
Yeah, and
that's
now,
hilarious.
That's what you said was the latest update. But it said that the White House official commented that the U.S. government had no plans to meet with North Korea. So it's kind of a convoluted story, but they keep bringing up all this North Korean card.
Everything coming out of the media is convoluted.
So I just thought it was very interesting. And then this one I thought was interesting, my next story, because this is about the second lady, I guess that's what they call her, Karen Pence.
No, she's not the second lady.
That's what they call her, as second lady, yeah.
She's the vice president's wife.
Well, I guess if the first one
never heard
is
of
the
a second
first lady, now they're calling her a second lady.
To me, you're the first lady.
Thank you. Anyway, so she said that apparently the second lady has a cause. Now the first lady...
Of course, they all have a... What's your cause?
My cause
I'm your
is...
cause.
Yeah, that's it. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting because the first lady has a cause, always. Now, I never heard of a second lady having a cause. But now they're calling her a second lady, and her cause is art therapy. And I thought that was really... Why would they bring that forward? Now, we do art therapy, we do... color, we do archetype, we teach you how to interpret a lot of things. And
you remember Nancy Reagan?
Yeah.
Her cause was just say no.
Yeah, that was to drugs.
Yeah, actually it was to Ronald.
Yeah. But the thing is that...
Not now.
But she was a first lady. This is a second lady. And then it goes on to say that art therapy works by engaging your subconscious and tapping into emotions and thoughts that may be difficult to express verbally. I agree with that.
I had that issue myself.
Yeah, it can help anyone from cancer patients to victims of abuse. And as I said, in our seminars and workshops, sometimes we do these kind of things. And apparently in Indiana, it said that she was offering various grants and processing in our field to help us, according to Tammy Harris, the president of the Indiana Art Therapy Association.
There is such a thing.
I didn't know. It said, so her being at that level definitely gives us a very much broader audience and understanding of the field. Now, this is the kicker, okay? Because like I told you, we do teach you a lot of this in the work we do. It says if you're interested in art therapy, make sure you choose someone who is qualified. And according to this, we're not. No. Art therapy is a master's level, get this, medical and healthcare profession, which requires a graduate degree.
Okay,
so that's
the picture and analyze it. What degree do you need?
Well, because then they can mix up the colors, they can mix up the symbols, and they can mix up your mind. That's what I think on another level.
Yeah.
So that, in my opinion, is why they're moving this forward. So I'm going to be interested to see how this cause progresses and how it most likely will conflict with ours. But as you know,
everything
oftentimes
conflicts with ours.
They do have a bit of truth, the lie sandwich, truth on the outside, lie in the middle, or vice versa. So I'm going to be really interested to follow this
cause. It's a special of the day, by the way.
Then, of course, Elon Musk is back in the news. I reported about him a week or two ago.
Her.
No.
He. Oh, Elon Musk.
He.
You said Ellen.
Elon.
You're speaking with your Seattle
Elon.
accent.
I call him Elon Musk.
It's Elon Musk.
That's what I
said. It's okay. Go ahead.
Elon Musk.
It's okay.
Apparently, he is going to develop underground ways of traveling.
Oh, good.
Remember, they had talked about the Hyperloop thing already.
I like that one.
Now he's got something. He's calling it the Boring Company, Boring.
Yeah, but that's been around a long time.
No, it says that he just formed it.
Listen to me. They have been boring tunnels with those things for decades.
Well, I know that, but publicly now they're claiming that he has it. And he says he envisions a vast network of tunnels up to 30 levels deep.
Ooh.
For cars, rail, and possibly even, of course, hyperloops, which he's been talking about.
That'd be confusing. And
then people are asking whether mega tunnels such as these would destabilize the ground, but then he said the mining industry has been doing this like forever.
Yeah, and we don't have earthquakes because of that.
And we'll remember, and we've talked about in our classes about up north in Michigan, those 80-level mines that they're actually talked about in the museums, local museums, that nobody knew who built them and how. So those are 80 stories.
And there's no technology to repeat them.
No, that they're telling us.
Right.
And they're claiming they don't know who. But that's in our local museums. You can read about that. So my feeling, again, is the reason they're bringing this forward is they're making people think more and more about going inside the earth. So...
Well, have to worry about bad weather then.
Okay, and then moving along about Greece.
Greece?
Greece
I love Greece.
is now displaying a 7,000-year-old archaeological enigma.
That might have been like my grandmother.
Apparently, they have a piece on display till the end of March. Now, listen to this. This is part of the unseen, this is an uppercase, unseen museum display.
Yeah.
This is a temporary exhibition of some 200,000. How could you see 200,000 antiquities held in the museum vaults that are not on permanent show? So they're making it sound like this big deal, right? So it's a bird-like object. It's let me explain. 14 inches tall or 36 centimeters. It has a pointed nose, a round belly, and cylindrical legs. And you're supposed to get all excited
It's
about
like me!
this, right? The thing is, it says it's mystified archaeologists who do not exactly know where it came from.
I could explain to them.
But listen to this. They say that it is asexual with no signs of breasts or genitals.
Well,
now,
that's not me.
if it's 7,000 years old, it's very possible that, like they washed away. But now they're saying, oh no, it's asexual because
there's
there's
an androgynous.
Yes, it's another way to put this out and imprint you with all these kind of new terminologies, which I've been talking to you about now for a couple of years or more. Anyway, they said that it's difficult to tell if it's asexual as a result of the challenge of carving granite without metal tools, whether it was deliberate, and maybe it could tell us something about the place of gender in Neolithic society, as if I care, right?
Please.
But it's interesting
They
because
need to get over themselves.
they're imprinting you. Now, speaking of more interesting things.
What?
A California man, this was actually an older story that came across my desk, but I'm reporting it anyway. It happened back in December that a California man was arrested with DUI, driving under the influence, which is usually alcohol, but they said when he was arrested and pulled over for erratic driving and they tested him twice, the only thing that showed up in his system was caffeine.
Is that illegal?
They're saying that it is.
What?
And they still gave him the DUI, and he
What?
was... I haven't heard the results of this story, so if you've heard the results, let me know. But they said basically you have to be careful, if you don't feel you're capable...
So if you drink too much coffee, you could be arrested.
That's what they're claiming. So if you don't feel like you're capable of driving, don't hop behind the wheel. Well, most people don't have enough, going on in their mind, and they think they're capable, but they're not.
Well, that's
so.
what I don't drive in the morning.
But I thought it was interesting that, and the reason I think, again, this one's coming forward, and I haven't heard too much about it, but we've talked a lot about driving under the influence with alcohol. But with marijuana being legalized in a variety of states, people are saying, what now is an illegal limit in your blood for that. So I think that all this is going to get tied together. And then we have our dear friend Angelina Jolie.
Oh, yes. She was just here for breakfast the other day.
She did a big interview with BBC.
She came with her new lips.
To talk, that's your vulva on your face there.
Oh, okay.
So that's what make you androgynous, because you have both female parts and male parts, I think. But unless they're fluidly changed. Listen to me. It could be it's changed because you're now gender fluid.
Oh, right. I need my own bathroom. I need my own bathroom.
I think so. Anyway, apparently, Angelina Jolie did a shot of this interview in Cambodia.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, so she decided to talk about local cuisine, and I remember I keep telling you that has been coming up on and off again for the last few years, that bugs are going to be the next thing to eat.
That's terrible.
So she showed them eating crickets, scorpions, and spiders.
Scorpions? They're my peeps. She's a cannibal. She
says it's an acquired taste, but she's way into it now. So anyway, so today showed her cooking up all the bugs
I'm glad
and the
that
spiders.
Brad is divorcing her because she's a hoe.
Yeah. And then, speaking of weird things, now this one was interesting. This is about a man, this was in Indonesia, 28 years old.
Oh, I saw that.
Who fell in love with the voice of a woman who rang him by mistake. He's 28.
Tell me how old she is.
He tracks her down, and he finds out she's 82.
28? 82.
Exactly. So she marries her anyway. This is in Indonesia, but
his mother must be so happy.
Well, his mother's probably dead.
His mother?
Yeah, because
he's 28.
Yeah, so his mother could be dead.
He's 28.
Well,
her mother might be dead.
Well, her mother should be dead if she's 82, unless she had her when she was like 1. But anyway, to me, this is again the twinning program, 2882. So whether or not this happened or whether or not they're just putting these numbers in front of you, and these are also new beginning frequencies, which we're in the middle of, so you have to be very careful
in his room.
of all the programming triggers that are out there, because they will technically drive you
I want to see if they
crazy.
have children.
And then I'm sure you heard that Trump did reverse Obama's transgender bathroom rules.
Well, I agree with
At least
that.
he's in the process. He's asked a judge to cancel a hearing in a legal appeal over an Obama-era rule regarding transgender
It's
bathroom
enough with the
use.
bathroom stuff. Stop
Yeah.
it already.
So anyway, hopefully, in my opinion, they should be
Just
do
wear
away with it.
diapers.
And then this is a little bit longer, but
Like
I'm just
I
going to
do.
highlight this. But again, because I'm telling you
What?
about all this trans stuff. So this article was called "The Next Stop on the Trans Train is Making Yourself Disabled."
I was on the Trans-Siberian Railroad. Is that the same thing?
I hope not. But anyway, the story starts off with a man called One Hand Jason who cut off his right arm because he felt like he was disabled. He identified with being disabled, so he cut
So
off
you
it.
actually did, really?
Yeah. He did a few years
That's
ago.
sick.
Yeah, of course it is. But the thing is...
With a power tool, it says?
Yeah, the power
Ah,
tool. And,
mentally ill.
yes, and he actually has a blog called Mod Blog, which is a modification website who people, because they identify...
Well, I guess he has to type with one hand.
I guess. And then, but the weird thing is, now there's a Canadian researcher that
it's
interviewed
Canada.
dozens of people like Jason, because he thinks, again, this is about related to transgender people who feel like they're in the wrong body. Well, this is if you have...
I'm in the wrong body.
If you have
My
too
body
many-
should be 30 years old.
If you have too many body... I thought you were 30.
Well, a couple
That's
of
what you
times.
told me.
Couple of times.
Anyway, so apparently, if they feel like they're in the wrong body, then they should fix it. It's like people who go in for plastic surgery, you feel like your lips should be bigger and look like your vulva.
I'm looking for my scorpion.
Okay, so then they can
stinger.
fix that to make your lips
Can I
look
get
like...
that implanted, a scorpion stinger?
Make your lips look like your vulva, which is you're now wearing on your
You're
face.
using bad words.
It's not a bad word. It's a female personal part
Oh,
word.
I thought it was a Swedish car.
No. Anyway, so if you can go to a plastic surgeon because you feel your lips are too small and they should look like, your other body parts and so on and so forth, they're saying why can't they have the body that they identify with?
Mhm.
So they want it to be called transabled.
Of course they do.
Yeah. So anyway, this person who wrote the article says, and then he makes a really good point. He says, children, we don't let them get a tattoo or a case of beer, but we can let them make life-altering decisions.
Yeah, right.
And that they're not a boy or a girl. And also, which he says, and I read the statistics, that higher suicide rates are usually associated with trans people. It's very challenging. And I haven't read this article on National Geographic, but I have the magazine. When I have time, I will. But they've actually put a trans child on the front of their cover. And so it says, okay, so if that's the case, and the child feels like, let's say a male feels like he's a female, so you say, okay, we'll give you the drugs, we'll turn you into a female, you're 6 years old now, but you can't buy a case of beer, you can't
Listen
get a
to me,
tattoo.
that it should be illegal.
Well, that's what they're
child that
saying.
age doesn't know what they are.
So now let's say the 6-year-old says that he identifies with not having legs. So now we take him in and we give him surgery to take the legs off, right?
Whoever does it, the surgeon should be executed.
So that makes them transabled. Now it says, this article, it's a person with his opinion, but I think it's very well written. He claims that when doctors will be asked, or as he says, coerced to remove healthy limbs while keeping their Hippocratic oath. Because if they can do transgender surgeries, then how about helping that person become transabled so they can be the person that they think that they are, right?
How about doing psychological work and releasing the crap mind pattern that makes them think that?
Well, anyway, so then the parent, now this is also interesting because they talk about this particular researcher, which later on at the end of the article they do say that this this researcher is himself disabled and transgender.
Oh, duh.
I don't know if he's transabled or just disabled, I'm not sure. But he says, quote, we define transability as the desire or the need for a person identified as able-bodied by other people to transform his or her body to obtain a physical impairment.
Why would you want to do that?
And he's going to present this, or maybe he's done it by now, at a place called the Congress of the Social Sciences and Humanities at the University of Ottawa. For example,
hello.
the person would want to become deaf, blind, amputee, paraplegic. It's a really, really strong desire.
So he thinks that's okay?
He doesn't really say, but he says he's interviewed people who want this to happen.
They
And
are mentally ill.
I agree. But anyway, but he relates it like I was telling you about the cosmetic surgery.
Please. Ah, no
who
wonder the
helps
aliens
people,
do what they do.
and transgenderism, so why not amputation to help someone achieve
Oh,
similar
yeah,
goals?
don't even tell me this.
And then he goes on and saying, in the late 1990s, a Scottish surgeon, I'm going to give the name because it's terrible, Dr. Robert Smith, but could be a made-up name, who knows, amputated the legs of 2 patients at their requests, and that although the patients each paid nearly $6,000
That's
for their
why he did it, for the money.
And the other thing is then these people are saying, well, if I don't want my legs, and then we have a person who needs legs, why don't we just cut off my healthy legs and give them to somebody who wants legs?
Well, you can't just, play around with body parts like that.
But they do, like they take them from cadavers, like people who need arms. They have face transplants, arm transplants.
But that doesn't always work.
No, but that's what they're saying. That's another thing. So anyway, transability is also known as body integrity identity disorder.
No, it's called mental illness. Period.
And transabled people want to see it fully added to the psychiatric Bible because it might legitimize
it's psychiatric, all right.
their experience in the field of medicine. So
honestly, people,
it's ridiculous. So it's programming. So
unbelievable.
So don't do that to yourself.
No,
okay, so
really.
read our books. 13 Cubed. Okay, remember I read you all the stuff off the back last week that says if you have blah blah blah, then most likely you have programming. And
keep all your body parts.
Keep your body parts. Then we have True Reality of Sexuality. So this will tell you if you're male or female, or if you're intersex, which can be chromosomally documented.
It's a mind pattern.
Okay. Hyperspace Plus, basic deprogramming exercises, and Hyperspace Helper, very basic deprogramming exercises, so you don't think all this crap.
Don't make me come over
4
there.
of these books are really necessary for your bookshelf, and they will all fit in one envelope.
Oh, good.
So I highly suggest that if you don't have these books in your library, that you add them, because all this nutsiness out there, please don't become involved in this. It's disgusting.
No.
Okay, so
keep your parts.
Yeah, do your hyperspace oversoul work so you're not affected by this, and you can see through. We teach you to read frequency and move through this kind of stuff. So be who you are, not who they're telling you are. Okay. Then
March, we have the webinars.
Yes, March, I have the self-healing group webinars. Very, very excellent series, and we also have those on pay-per-view if you're not able to attend. And Stewart always wants me to tell you that he's going to be going to Africa on a private event, which you cannot attend. Please,
I cannot tell you.
Please don't write about it.
Do not ask
a lot
me.
of people asking.
Don't.
But don't, because he wants you to know about something you can't have. Okay? April, this is something you can have. Although you can't have personal consultations because he's booked. But he's going to be in Poland, Germany. Check out the website. Okay?
And there's a conference exposing the truth with Laura Eisenhower.
You sure it's exposing what?
The truth and my...
Maybe you're going to tell if you're gender fluid.
I will tell you who. Yeah, you can see my gender. I will show you.
Yeah, and then in June.
Well, May and June actually.
No, in June.
Because you're leaving end of May.
Yeah, but there won't be the tour doesn't start until June. So in June, I have my Clear Health and Healing Tour to the northern part of Italy, and it's an amazingly inexpensive trip for Europe. It will be closing April 30th, so if you haven't made your reservation by then, you're out of luck. And it's an amazing way to walk.
Really, really, really want to go because it's unbelievable.
The path of the ancient Waldensians, learn the history, meet Waldensians, meet my cousin, my family. You'll see the old Waldensian homes. You'll eat the fantastic food. The albergo is amazing.
Yep.
So I'm very, very reasonable. So if you want to go, you've got to tell me now. Okay, and then, you are going to be meeting the Crown Prince of Ethiopia.
He shall anoint me.
The Queen of the Caribbean island, Nevis Island. That will be on the website. I don't have it up yet, but
you don't have it up yet?
I don't think so,
That's
but
terrible.
we need to get that up. And then what else?
In September, October.
In September, October, the first thing we have is our September Spectacular, where we will keep you updated on all of our latest research. It's a week-long class. It's incredible and amazing. And that one you don't want to miss. That will be here in St. Joseph, Michigan.
And then we have a bus tour.
We have a bus tour towards at the end of September.
It's September 29 it starts.
Into October, and that has to do with Roswell, UFOs,
Marfa
Lights, the White
Sands,
everything you ever wanted to know. And we're hoping that, well, a couple of things that could happen. If Trump gives Texas back to Mexico.
Well, he's not going to do that.
You don't think so? Well, that's what he'd want. Okay, so we won't be in Mexico, but we will be in Texas and New Mexico.
You the wall.
And if they start the wall, we'll have a first-hand view, right?
Yeah. We might even help some Mexicans across the wall.
Maybe. So anyway, and then?
And then? We have a conference in October in Poland again.
Okay, so we'll be providing details on that. Please like our Facebook pages. We have our GoFundMe campaign that's finally getting going. It's taken us a while to put everything together because we're so busy all the time, but it's out there. So we want to be able to finish our mind-body book. And then we have, I'm going to tell you after that, we've got books planned. So we're going to have...
Body-mind correlation.
That I just said.
You did?
I did. And then we're going to also be combining... The next book will be like a jump off from these two books, 13 Cubed and True Realization.
Oh, yes.
I'm very excited about this, but we've got to finish
Can't
Body-Mind
tell them about
Correlations.
that.
So we have a lot of things on our agenda that we need your help with. So be sure you donate to our GoFundMe campaign. Help us with our research. And what else do we have going on?
Well, that's all I know for now.
For now? Okay, because we have so much. But, join our membership on our site, because that's where we help you. This February is Are You Relationship Ready? And Breaking the Cycles of Abuse. March, you're going to have to tune in because I'm going to surprise you with that one. Right? And all of Stewart's private articles and a Q&A. Oh, and last announcement. On both of our Facebook pages, we have both found under Messenger hundreds of unanswered
From
things
years ago.
that got filtered.
How'd that happen?
We don't know how that happened. So if you wrote to us
That's
on
Mark
Facebook...
Zuckerberg did that on purpose.
And so all of a sudden they appeared. So there's no way we can go through everything. And I thought about putting announcements on our pages, but if we do that, you can't see them because you can't get on there.
Anyway.
I don't know. But anyway, so if you did write and you didn't hear back from us, we do our
We
best.
had no idea.
Yeah, we do our best to answer. So please join the membership site. We have Q&A there. We don't do them on Facebook or we'd be there all day long. So if you respect us and our time at less than $1 a day, you can join our membership and ask questions. So do that. Okay?
Okay.
So with that said, I guess we will see them next week.
Yes, please keep all your genitals. Bye for now.
Bye. And don't wear them on your face.
No, and keep your legs and hands and everything else.
Yeah. Bye.